All right, so let's look at how to find the slope of a graph. So when given a linear equation that's graphed on a graph, it will always have a slope. And the slope is just the change of its y values divided by the change in its x values. So every value of a graph has an x and a y axis. Your x-axis is the horizontal line. Your y-axis is the vertical line. So everything that moves to the left and right is your x. And then everything that moves up and down is all of your y values, or your vertical change. Another phrase that you may have heard that's going to help you remember how to find the slope of a line is its rise over its run. Okay, the rise is just the change in the vertical, climbing up, rising, or down, depending on the direction of your line. And then your run is just your left and right change. And usually with run, it always goes left to right, just like you're reading. That way it'll help you easily determine whether something is positive or negative when you're dividing and you get your fractions. If you read left to right, it's going to help with consistency of your positive and your negative signs for finding the slope. So in order to find the slope of your line, you need to be able to determine some key points within the graph and how to read a graph. So your x-axis, again, is your left and your right one right here. And we have a point that right now starts at 40 and 0. And then the next time it crosses a point is all the way up here. And that point's coordinates are 60 and 30. Okay, x is always listed first because it's alphabetical order. And the first points, again, I'll write here, are 40 and 0. So all we're going to do is count the change of its rise units. And in this specific graph, each one of our intervals for our y-axis go up by 10. So every time we move up in the line, we're going up by 10. So from here to here is 10. Then we have another 10. And then another 10. So 3 units of 10 is a rise of 30. Then moving over to the right, or running, we start here. 1, 2. 2 units of 10 changes 20. So when you set this up as your fraction for your slope, your rise units are 30. Your run units are 20. Then we just have to make sure that we completely reduce this fraction. It can both be divided by 10. Or your leading zeros just become canceled. Or not your leading zeros, your trailing zeros. So your reduced slope of this linear function is the fraction, or the ratio, 3 over 2. Now let's go ahead and move over to the one on the right. We're starting at the point 0, 10. And the next point that we can see all the way right over here. So it looks like each one of these major lines is 20, and then this one is about halfway from 20 to 40. So that halfway point is going to be 30, and our y value is 7. So when we start at the point furthest to the left, our slope is going down. So our rise, instead of being a positive number like it was here previously with 30, it's going to be a negative number. And each one of our units is 1. So we would go down 1, go down 2, go down 3. This is a rise of negative 3 because we're going down 3. And then we move over to the right. This unit is 20. And then the halfway unit between is 10. So this is going to be 10, 20, and 30. So our slope is negative 3 over 30. And again, we have to make sure that we completely reduce this slope. We can divide both of these things by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. And 30 divided by 3 is 10. So just make sure all of your fractions are reduced. Your y change is always listed on top. Your x change is always listed on the bottom.